Today we're going to look at brand new scenarios you can create on your own using cards you own, and then choose one of them to play against. First on our list is the Logan Files. The Logan Files is a story arc from 2002 where Sabretooth shows up and he recruits a couple friends such as Omega Red and Lady Deathstrike to help him gain access to Weapon X files, to learn more about Wolverine, to get money, and maybe even to access the carbonadium synthesizer that Omega Red needs in order to exist and stay stable. These three are not trying to abduct Senator Kelly, so we won't use Sabretooth's usual main scheme. What they're trying to do is break in, so we'll use Rhino's main scheme. Obviously, using that main scheme can make the encounter a little easier, so you ratchet up the difficulty from there however you want, putting in your expert set, maybe start out playing Sabretooth on stage 2. This becomes a really straightforward, fun, smash 'em up, bash 'em up encounter, and I highly recommend it. Our next encounter is the Danger Room, and it brings to life the X-Men's Danger Room, which is of course a simulator where minion after minion is thrown at them, and you just see how far the X-Men go until they can't anymore. It comes to us from a blog called Have at the Blog. I don't know who this is. If you designed this one, let me know. Drop it in the comments, because this is the only one on the list that I didn't make myself, and I think it's really cool. I'll drop a link down in the description. If you follow that link, you'll find a deck list that has all of these cards that come from a ton of sets, and it just includes minion after minion. It's meant to be difficult. You're going to be fighting Taskmaster, and then the Green Goblin, and then Scorpion pops out in front of you. It's definitely the most difficult encounter on this entire list. Our next deck features the storyline where the Hellfire Club are pulling their political strings to control a Sentinel factory. They're getting what they want, they're threatening and controlling people by using their Sentinels. So we want to attack the Hellfire Club's Sentinel factory. So we start with the module for Hellfire Club, and we're actually going to start with the inner circle in play as if it had the setup keyword on it. We'll use the Sentinel Factory main scheme for them in combination with the Sentinel villains. This is not the main scheme that comes with Sentinels, so you'll put that aside and instead use the Sentinel Factory, which is from the Master Mold villain. Then of course we include a Sentinels module, put in your standard module, and you're good to go. That's a really fun scenario. My next storyline that I like to bring to life is really the simplest deck to build, but it was one of my favorite parts of the animated series to watch when I was a kid. All of Season 2 is just Mr. Sinister tricking the X-Men into coming to the Savage Lands and then manipulating Sauron to kind of fight against them and do all these things. So we bring in the Mr. Sinister villain deck and just mix in the Sauron module and the Savage Lands module. Simple as that. And last but not least is another storyline from the X-Men cartoon. This one's from Season 4, when Apocalypse and Mr. Sinister have teamed up and they're abducting psychics and bringing them back to his pyramid back in time to try to create some special mutant extremist utopia or something. In that episode, Nasty Boys just toss Jean Grey into a portal, and then Magneto helps kidnap Psylocke, and it's just all the baddies working together to abduct innocent X-Men. So we do that with the Apocalypse deck. It's Ensaba Nur. And then we bring in the Mr. Sinister minion deck. This is Cyclops' nemesis minion. We also bring in Mystique, since she's in those episodes helping kidnap people. And then the same is true for the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Instead of using the Brotherhood module, it might be a good idea to use the Nasty Boys. I don't have the Nasty Boys module on me today, but that would probably be a better pick than Brotherhood to really bring the series alive. I hope these custom scenarios are getting your juices flowing because there's so much you can do with these cards. I have just a couple honorable mentions before we dive into the game. One cool thing you can do is you can take Stalked by Sabretooth and you can have any villain you want try to hunt down Robert Kelly. For example, maybe Magneto's hunting down Robert Kelly. Another really popular one is to take that Infinity Gauntlet and stick it on whoever you want to fight. That's a pretty wild one. So let's dive into the game. I'm really in the mood to take on Apocalypse and his whole psychic person kidnapping hijinks. Well, if he's out there kidnapping psychics, let's see him try to kidnap Psylocke. That's right. She is one of my absolute favorites since I started playing this game. Towards the end of that X-Men animated series plot, Psylocke was actually one of the last ones they were trying to kidnap. So this is really cool. We're going to play it out and she's going to defend herself. Hopefully. Let's set up the board. Psylocke will go here, but starts in alter ego form. She'll start with 10 hit points. Her hero deck will go here, and her discard pile here. The villain will go here, and he starts at 16 hit points. The encounter deck will be here, and his discard pile here. The main scheme will start right here, and now let's take a look at what that is. Ensaba Nur's Pyramid. We've already done the contents with some custom contents. For setup, it has us start him in Biomorph form and deal each player a face down encounter card. Okay, cool. Let's get that encounter card and then learn what Biomorph form is. So this is a version of Apocalypse that has a bunch of different forms for him to be in, and here's his biomorph form that he's going to start in. He has 1 scheme, 2 attack, he gains overkill, and when he flips back to this form ever, he'll deal 1 indirect damage to each player. So this is kind of his form where he does a little more damage, but he's weak on scheming. Let's look at what else this pyramid main scheme is about. At 8 threat, it will be accomplished. Within his high-tech pyramid, Apocalypse prepares for his ascension. After we resolve step 1 of the villain phase, we're always going to put a power counter here, and once there's 4 power counters, he gets a superpower. So the pyramid is like his celestial connection to get his greater superpowers. As promised, we're going to start with this Operation Zero Tolerance in play. We're going to use it the same way it's used in the Sentinel campaign, which is that we pretend there's a permanent keyword on it. It'll never leave play. After an enemy attacks and defeats an ally, we place that ally face down under the scheme, and then once there are 4 underneath here, we lose the game. So basically, this is how they capture allies. Just like in the TV show, once there's 4 underneath there, that's an alternative lose condition for us, or a win condition for the villain. The pyramid starts with 1 threat, Zero Tolerance starts with 3, but we'll never thwart Operation Zero Tolerance because there's no point. Over to Betsy Braddock. She starts the game with 6 hand size. Throughout the video, I'll always show my hand for a second like this so that you can see the cards, but I won't go through them. Feel free to pause your screen if you want to take a look yourself. Let's look at Betsy Braddock. She has a recovery of 3, and she has Psionic Manifestation, which happens right now. We put your 2 Psi Energy upgrades into play, Psi Knife side face up, and then she has an action we can use to get Psionic cards from our discard pile back into our deck. Okay, so that means we have to put 2 Psi Knives into play. There's these double-sided cards we have, Psi Katana, and they can each become Psi Knife, Psi Knife. These will just be sitting right here. But what do? Let's find out. Psi Knife. It's a permanent, it's going to stay in play. This side gives her +1 thwart. We can use it to generate mental resources, and when we use it, we can flip it. On the other side, it gives us +1 attack and piercing and physical resources. So she can be a complex character to play, managing her Psi Knives and Psi Katanas. You can just picture the psychic blades like growing as she decides to do more damage or not. Let's dive into the game. I'm actually going to mulligan 3 different thwart cards because there's no need to thwart early game like this. I'll play Training Regimen, and I'll pay for it with a Psi Knife and flip it to a Psi Katana side. Training Regimen is a support that I can use to search my deck for a skill card. And as long as I'm in alter ego form, I don't have to discard a card when I do that. So let's do that now. The skill that I want is Sense of Justice. And I will play Sense of Justice into play right now. I'll pay for that using energy. Sense of Justice is an upgrade I can use to generate mental resources for thwarts. So that'll be very useful over the course of the game. Betsy Braddock then trains herself some more with weapons training, which I'll pay for using Strength. This is another upgrade that gives her Retaliate 1, and after she attacks, I can ready each weapon upgrade she controls. Very cool. We'll flip her into combat. Let's look at her hero side and see what she does. She has a weak thwart and attack of only 1 each, but those get enhanced by her katanas and knives. And then her defense is only 2. She has Psi Energy Control, which allows her to flip her Psi Energy upgrades before she attacks or thwarts or defends. Right now, Psylocke will thwart and Sabanu's Pyramid for 1, 2, and the rest of the cards in my hand don't really make sense to play. So we'll ready up and go to the villain phase. 1 threat goes on to the Pyramid, and 1 power counter goes there. It's starting to charge up that celestial power to give Apocalypse a superpower. Apocalypse then attacks me for 2, plus whatever's here, and Psylocke will not defend. Apocalypse hits for 2, 3, 4. It's enhanced by Gene Therapy. Psylocke goes down to 6, but her weapons training allows her to retaliate. Apocalypse is down to 15. Then some bad things happen. We deal the encounter cards and start revealing. Technological Interface. If Apocalypse is already in Cyberpath form, he activates. Well, he's not, so instead he's going to become Cyberpath form, and we're going to get a power counter. Here's his Cyberpath form. This is a side where he attacks kind of weak, but he has Retaliate 1, and when he moves to this, we place 1 threat on each scheme in play. So that means we get this up to 4, this up to 2, and because of the technological interface, there's now 2 power counters on the pyramid. What happens next? The villain schemes. Oh, how perfect that happened. He schemes for 1, 2, And more gene therapy. He schemes for a total of 4. His gene therapy allows him to really make a difference on his pyramid. I just realized when I write it up, I forgot to draw up to my full hand size. So there's my full hand size. So we'll go to the hero phase. Psylocke will flip out of combat and recover so that she's back up to 9 hit points. We'll then use Training Regimen. This is the card that lets us search for a skill. And the skill we're going to search for is Heroic Intuition. We'll then play Professor X into play. We'll pay for him using Determination and both of our Psyblades. When Determination is used to pay for something, we get to remove 1 threat from the main scheme. This goes down to 5. Professor X, when he enters, I can confuse the villain, and I will. Professor X then thwarts for 3, putting the pyramid down to 2. And he takes a consequential damage. I'll then play Heroic Intuition into play, paying for it with these 2 cards. What does Heroic Intuition do? Your hero gets 1 thwart. Alright, let's now ready up. Over to the villain phase. This threat's up to 3. The superpowers power counter goes up to 3. Apocalypse attempts to scheme. He cannot because he's confused. And then a bad thing happens. Giant-sized Despot. If Apocalypse is in giant form, he activates. Well, he's not, so he becomes giant form, and we get a power counter. Let's look at the giant form. 2 scheme, 2 attack, and he's stalwart, so we can't confuse him anymore. And when he changed into this form, we heal a damage from him. So there goes that damage we worked hard on. And now we place a power counter, which puts us up to 4, which triggers it, so now we have to find a superpower. There's our superpower. It's giant growth. Wow, Apocalypse is really focused on being big right now. If Apocalypse is in giant form, he activates against the player who defeated this scheme. Otherwise, change Apocalypse to giant form and give him a tough status card. This comes in with 5 and has a hazard on it. So he's really focused on this whole being big thing right now. And I'm not going to lie, this is a really bad start. I think we might lose this game. I'm going to upload this video no matter what. I want you guys to see this scenario, see that it is tough to play against so that you have a real challenge. If Betsy Braddock gets captured, we're uploading it, guys. We're going to check this out. All right, here we go. At the end of the villain phase, that's the end of the round, and Professor X gets discarded. We now go to the hero phase, and once again, I forgot to draw my cards when I was writing up earlier. So here's my hand of 6, and we'll play. First things first, Training Regimen is so strong when you're in alter ego form because you can just get a skill card. I'm going to get Making an Entrance. Shuffle the deck. This is tapped. Let's flip into combat. And Psylocke will thwart the giant growth. She'll use her interrupt to flip her Psy Katana to a smaller little Psy Knife, so her thwart is now 3, 4. I'll interrupt her thwart with Making an Entrance. So she doesn't just go thwart the giant growth problem, she goes back flipping with style into it. I'll pay for that with a Psy Knife. What does it do? When your hero makes a basic thwart, it gets +2 thwart for that thwart. After that thwart ends, if your hero removed all the threat from the scheme, they heal 2 damage from your hero. Okay, we're now thwarting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's enough to remove everything from giant growth. But we're not done. We'll also play Brains over Brawn. And I'll pay for that with a couple directed forces. Brains over Brawn. After your hero makes a basic thwart, deal damage to an enemy equal to your hero's thwart. Well, that's pretty nice, because right now my thwart is 6. So we actually smacked him down to 10, which is really nice. We might not win this game, but we're going to make sure Apocalypse feels it in the morning. Let's resolve when defeated on giant growth. If Apocalypse is in giant form, he activates against the player who defeated this scheme. Okay. He attacks me for 2 plus whatever's here. I'm going to use Psionic Redirect as a defense interrupt. I'll pay for it with a Psy Knife and flip it to Psy Katana side. I'll also pay for it using Psionic Training. When you would take any amount of damage, prevent 2 of it. For each Psy Katana we have, and we have 1, we prevent 2 additional. So that means we'll prevent 4 damage. Then for each Psy Knife, which we do have 1, we can confuse the enemy. I just realized he has Stalwart, so he won't get confused, but that's alright. We're going to prevent probably all this damage. Yep, we prevented all, and he does a Biomorphic Blast. After this activation, change him to Biomorph form. That's good. It's a shame he couldn't have done that earlier so that he could be confused right now. Biomorph form is the form which is weak at scheming. He did just attack me, so I retaliate 1. It's down to 9. Oops, this goes here. After we switch to Biomorph form, we have to put a power counter on the pyramid. That's due to the biomorphic blast. All right, let's ready up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a great hand. That's going to be hard to use all those cards. Over here, the pyramid thwarts up to 4. The power counters go up to 2. And Apocalypse attacks me for 1, 2, plus whatever's here, and he has overkill. Psylocke does not defend herself, so it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's down to 4, and she retaliates him. Oops, I left the 1 hanging there from earlier, but he's only at 8 from the retaliate. Concussive Force. I'm in hero form. If Mr. Sinister's in play, he attacks you, otherwise just take 2 damage. So Mr. Sinister's just on the sidelines, blasting me for an arbitrary 2 damage, which almost cooks me. Psylocke will attack Apocalypse and switch one of her knives to a katana, so that she's attacking for 1, 2, 3. That knocks him down to 5. She did this attack so that she could play upside the head and pay for it with 1 katana. After your hero makes a basic attack and damages an enemy, confuse it. So we pay only 1 to confuse him. We'll then play Legion. He'll be paid for with these 2 cards, plus a side katana. He will thwart for 1, thwarting this down to 3. And now let's take a look at Legion. Man, he looks cool. After Legion uses a basic power, we discard the top card of our deck, and based on the printed resource, we could do damage, heal, or remove threat. So let's see what we get. I think right now we're probably just hoping for mental resource. Oh, we got physical, so he heals 2 damage. He's already at full, so nothing happens, and then he takes the consequential damage. He is tapped. Now we flip Psylocke into alter ego form. She has to stay out of combat and protect herself, and this is where things will probably get really ugly. Villain phase. This ticks up to 4. The superpower goes up to 3. Apocalypse tries to scheme but is confused. And Source of Power. He's working on a side scheme. It has 5 threat and it has an amplifier. If we defeat it, he will activate against us since he's already in biomorph form. So that goes there and it has 5 on it. Let's go to the hero phase. Betsy Braddock will recover for 3, so she's up to 5. Training Regimen allows us to search for any skill. So we'll take martial arts training. She'll then flip into combat as hero form. So right now we don't want to solve the Source of Power side scheme because Apocalypse would hit us hard and we're already at 5 and Psylocke can't defend right now. We want to save that side scheme for another time when he's not in biomorph form and force him into biomorph form. We're going to play Mental Detection and pay for it with the Power of the Mind. This is a resource that just counts for 2 if you use it on a psionic card. So this is a psionic card and it gets paid for. This is a thwart. Remove 1 threat from a scheme, and then since we have 2 katanas up, we're going to draw 2 cards. We'll remove 1 here, putting this down to 3, and then draw 2 cards. Next we'll have Legion thwart for 1, putting this down to 2, and just see what his wild card thing ends up being before we play the rest of our turn. And it's energy, which does mean he deals 2 damage to an enemy, which means he gets to knock Apocalypse down to 3. We'll then play Mental Detection again. This time Mental Detection will be paid for with 1 side katana, which we flip to a side knife side, and then we'll use Sense of Justice, because this can be used for thwart events. So what does this do? Remove 1 threat from a scheme. Since we have a side knife up, we'll remove 2 additional. That means we'll remove 3 threat from a scheme. And then since we have a side katana up also, we'll draw a card. We'll remove 3 from the Source of Power so that it's easy to solve it later when we need to, and we'll draw a card. This is my hand size right now, by the way. We're cooking. We're going to play Flurry of Blades, which costs 3. We'll pay for it with Genius and Upside the Head. It's an event, deal 2 damage to an enemy. For each side knife you have, which we do have, we get to confuse it. And then for each side katana, we deal 2 additional damage. We have all of that, so it's going to be 2 damage to an enemy, so he's down to 1. Then confuse his butt, and then deal 2 more damage to him. So that knocks him into his next form. He is in Biomorph, so he'll stay in Biomorph. What does Biomorph look like on this next stage? He now hits even harder. He's still weak to Scheme, but he now has 3 attack, and he's still confused. He has 20 health now. We'll then play a Sonic Rifle into play, and use our last 3 cards, and we'll pay for it with 1, 2, 3. This katana will help pay for it. What does this Sonic Rifle do? This is an upgrade that we can use to confuse the enemy whenever we want. It comes into play with 2 counters on it. As you can see, we're putting a lot of effort into trying to keep Apocalypse as confused as possible. Hopefully he doesn't switch to giant form and become Stalwart, because that'll ruin everything we got going for ourselves. Keep in mind that this is restricted. We can only have 2 restricted items, and right now we do have 2. This one and this Sai Katana. While this Sonic Rifle is out, we actually can't have 2 Sai Katanas. It's the price we pay for keeping them confused. I have 1 card left in my hand. Psylocke's gonna ready up for the villain phase, which is sure to be nice and brutal. And then we'll draw up to 4. We're pretty vulnerable here. This is a tough spot. This goes up to 3. The power counters go up to 4, which means we remove the power counters and look for a superpower. Honestly, he could win this turn pretty easily, but we had to take the chance and play it risky. This is his superpower. This is exactly what I was afraid of. If Apocalypse is in giant form, he activates. Well, that doesn't happen. He just goes to giant form and gets a power counter. So we'll get the power counter out there now, and he goes to giant form. We know that giant form is Stalwart, so he'll lose his confusion, and he now can attack for 3, and when he comes to this form, he heals 2 damage. Luckily, he's already at full health. He's now going to attack me for 1, 2, 3, 4, plus whatever's here. So he could kill me right now. Here's the good thing. There is a plus side. He lost Overkill, so we can feed Legion to him. Hey, Legion, can you answer the door for me? And it gets boosted for another 1, so that is a total of 7 damage. Legion gets defeated. But wait, not only defeated, this is now a psychic mutant that they have captured in Operation Zero Tolerance. That does make the future a little bleak, because we need our allies to be able to come back if the game goes long. There's a boost also. Discard 1 random card from your hand. That's from Toad. He hits us with his long tongue. We'll roll an 8-sided die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's an 8. We lose. Lay the trap. That is a bummer. That is very strong for this deck to be using. But that's okay. We will find a way, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe we get smoked. Now a bad thing happens, and it's Infiltration. This is Mystique sneaking into the background and helping out Apocalypse. Shuffle this card into your deck, and it gets Surge. Eyes closed, shuffling. The orange card could wind up anywhere. And Surge. Oh my gosh, it's more Infiltration. Ah, this sucks really bad. Mystique is making it tough on us. Shuffle this card into your deck, and it gains Surge. Okay, well here's the Surge card. This is such a hard scenario. And what's next? Mystique is all over the place. Mystique's shapeshifting makes her all manner of trouble. This is an amplifier with 3 threat on it. The player who defeats the scheme shuffles each shapeshifter card from the encounter discard pile into their deck. Okay, now's a good time to defeat that if we can. Let's go over to the hero phase and see what we can do with 3 cards. We'll play Peter Wisdom. He'll be paid for with our other 2 cards, plus our Sai Knife and our Sai Katana. He's a member of the X-Force, baby. He can thwart for 3, attack for 2, and after the villain resolves a when revealed effect, we can heal 1 damage from Pete Wisdom. That's pretty good. We really need him right now to just thwart for 2, so he will do that. Or thwart for 3, I mean. And he will solve the source of power, which means that Apocalypse goes to Biomorph form and gets a tough status. Biomorph form is where he only has 1 for scheme. When he switches here, you deal 2 indirect damage to a player. So I will do both of that to myself. Psylocke's down to 3. He gets a tough status, and I will immediately shoot him. He's confused. That Sonic Rifle's so cool. Psylocke will then switch out of combat, recover for 3, which she desperately needs, and ready up. 4, or are we going to draw Angel? Please draw Angel, please draw Angel. Oh man, it's like we're not getting him. Dang. Over to the villain phase. The pyramid ticks up to 4. This source of power goes up to 2. Apocalypse tries to scheme, but he can't because he's confused, and then something bad happens. Homo Superior attached to a minion. There are no minions. This gets Surge. Infiltration again! No! My deck is mostly infiltrated right now. And it gets Surge. Technological Interface. Switch him to Cyberpath form and put 1 power counter. He switched to Cyberpath, which means his attacks are weak now. 2 threat on each scheme in play, so this goes up to 5, this goes up to 6, this goes up to 6, and this gets a power counter. Okay, let's see what we can do. First, I'll use Training Regimen to try to get a skill. I guess I have 1 I can use for a resource. I'm grabbing Heroic Intuition, closing my eyes, hopefully not putting just 2 orange cards on top. Okay, oh, okay, well, all right. Betsy Braddock will recover for 3. She's up to 9. She'll then flip into combat. I'll use my Sonic Rifle again to confuse Apocalypse again. Check this out. Pete Wisdom has a when revealed that he heals 1 damage. Technological interface was a when revealed. He would actually have only 1 consequential damage on him right now. We'll play Impede, which is paid for with Sense of Justice and a Heroic Intuition. What does this card do? It's a thwart, removes 3 threat from the main scheme. If it's the first card you've played this turn, return it to your hand. Cool, return to my hand and knock this down to 3. We'll then play Impede again, pay for it with Gunboat Diplomacy and a Katana. So that's another 3 threat from the main scheme. We'll then play Morrow. We'll pay for Morrow with a Psy Knife and Float Like a Butterfly. Morrow is a super cool X-Force hero. Thwarts for 1 and attacks for 2, but when she enters play, she immediately does 2 damage, so she'll knock the toughness off of Apocalypse. Psylocke can't stop the Metamorphic Mayhem this turn, so she's just going to leave it, and we won't use our allies this turn. Psylocke readies up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 infiltrations. The first infiltration is, after this card enters your hand, discard an ally or support you control. Now I wish I had used my ally a little more, but I'll let Morrow go. This next one is really bad for us because now we go get Mystique from the discard pile or encounter deck. This is where things go really wrong. Mystique makes an encounter much more difficult. She has toughness. Let's read about her. She has the same scheme and attack as the villain. Players can't attack the villain, but it's not considered guard, so I can't bypass it with effects that normally bypass guard. And she has toughness and 9 hit points. She's basically a second villain, and that leaves me with only 2 cards in hand. That's actually the end of my turn. Now we go to the villain's turn. This pops up to 1. This goes to 4. That's 4 power counters. He's going to get a superpower. It's Biomorphic Blast. It's going to switch him to Biomorph form, and we know that Biomorph form causes him to hit harder, and he is about to attack. So Psylocke decides to use Telepathic Suggestion to cancel when revealed effects. She'll pay for it with her 2 katanas, and she'll switch the knife to a katana. For each Psy Katana you control, choose an enemy and deal 2 damage to it. We're gonna knock the toughness off Mystique and do 2 damage to her. After that, Apocalypse tries to scheme, but he can't because he's confused, and then something bad happens. Oh, he gets Staggering Strength attached to him and change him to giant form, and when he attacks, he'll get +2 attack and stun me. He's now Stalwart, and in addition to being Stalwart, when he comes to this form, you heal 2 damage. Luckily, he's still at full health. This is when the encounter really starts getting set up. The whole villain side has got their system going, and it's really hard to win from here. We'll go over to the hero side, and I only have 1 card in my hand that I definitely can't play. Psylocke's going to try to just put some damage into Mystique and get her off the board as quickly as possible. So she'll attack for 3, 4, 5, and she has 7 damage on her. 2 more would finish her off. And now she readies up. Now hang on to your butts, it's going to get wild. This has entered our hand. Discard an ally or support. I will discard my training regimen. Okay, now with my 3 cards, we go over to the villain phase. This threat's up to 2, and he gets a power in his pyramid. He then attacks me for 1, 2, 3, plus whatever's here, and also 2 more from this. Psylocke's also immediately stunned. Pete Wisdom will step in front of this one. He hits for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's it, 6. Thank you, Pete Wisdom. Unfortunately, you are the second ally to get captured. Then Mystique attacks for 3. Psylocke will just take that to the chin, and there'll be a retaliate there so that Mystique only has 1 hit point left. Oh, if only that could have finished her. Then something bad happens. The villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. That should be game. I don't think there's any coming back from that. I think this one beats us, guys. The villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. Let's play it out. He attacks for 1, 2, 3, 4, plus whatever's here. Oh, I forgot. I do have a defense in my hand. So we'll play Psionic Redirect, and I'll pay for it with Telepathy and one of my Psy Katanas. Psionic Redirect is a defense when you would take any amount of damage, prevent 2. Then for each of your Psy Katanas, which I have 2 of those, it's 2 additional. That's a total of 6 prevention. So he hits for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this gets attached to him after the activation. So it's a total of 4, and none of it hits me. Then Mystique attacks me for, believe it or not, her attack right now is equal to the villain's attack, which is 3, 4, 5. So she's actually attacking me for 5. So I have to defend, so she takes 3. This is how it gets grim. Now we go to the hero phase. I'm all tapped out, and I only have 1 card I can't play. So let's ready up. Here's my hand size of 4, and I finally have Angel plus Soaring Hearts. That's kind of promising that I might finally be able to get out of this. I do have to flip out of combat, of course, at the end of my turn. We went through our hero deck, so we will deal ourselves an encounter card. Oh, and guess what, guys? We just got attacked twice while we have Retaliate. That defeats Mystique. We got Apocalypse down to 19. Well, there's some silver lining. Things aren't as grim as it seems. Over to the villain phase. The Pyramid ticks up to 3. The superpowers go up to 2. He schemes for 2, plus whatever's here. It gets boost for another 2, so he schemes for 4, which puts this up to a total of 7. It's very close to ticking over. And you are now stunned. If you're already stunned, take 2 damage. So Mr. Sinister boosts this attack and knocks me down to 1 health. This gets discarded as well. So we just exhausted our whole villain deck. That means we get an accelerator, and we deal ourselves a card. It is Biomorphic Blast. Change to biomorphic form and place 1 power on the main scheme. That's probably a good thing for us. That takes the heat off for a second. Oh, but guess what? Biomorphic form. After Apocalypse's changes to this form, deal 2 indirect damage to each player. That time, there's no getting around it. That is putting me down to 0. Psylocke is done. Oh, what a bummer. Psylocke died while we have Soaring Hearts and Angel in hand. We were about to turn it around just maybe. Well, hopefully you got to see just how wild this encounter can be. This Psylocke deck isn't that bad, so if you're looking for challenge, this is a fantastic scenario to try to take down. And that's true for multiplayer as well, where it happens even faster that you end up with 4 allies that are captured underneath Operation Zero Tolerance. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Let me know what else you'd like to see. If you'd like me to play any of these other sort of custom scenarios, if you want to see more custom scenarios, I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. Take care.